Welcome to My Vertical Obsession. I'm your host, Megan, and today we are talking Step by Step, which is on SuperPunchy app, which is by SuperPunchy Studios. It stars Nicole Maddox as Piper, Seth Dean as Parker, Haley Lorelei as Holly, Molly Anderson as Lily, John Bradell as Xavier, and Nicole Diane as Joyce. So the synopsis for this one is: two star-crossed lovers with an unexpected bond are forced to choose between their forbidden love and their loyalty to the people who need them most. My overview for this one is, after a chance meeting in a club, Piper and Parker find out their parents are engaged. Now they're going to be spending 2 weeks together on a family vacation. Piper is determined to forget what happened between them so their parents can be happy. Parker wants to prove they can be together, but also wants his father to be happy as well. After their parents announce they're getting married at the end of the 2-week vacation, Piper and Parker agree they can't happen. When their parents are gone for the weekend, Parker and Piper finally admit their feelings for each other and give in to their feelings. They agree that no one can ever know, so not to ruin their parents' happiness. But when Piper's sister Lily shows up, their secret is at risk of being exposed. Parker tried to bribe her after rejecting her suggestion. When the wedding happens, Lily exposes everything at the reception. Piper admits it's true and that they love each other. Their parents tell them that they're not upset and they should follow their hearts. Even though they may be married, Piper and Parker's hearts are with each other. After all, they didn't grow up together and they're not blood related, so it's not weird or wrong. Even though they had their family's blessing, Piper still didn't believe it could work, so she leaves to go back to work and walks away from Parker. But Parker's dad says they will see each other again. So now, to get into the talking points, the first one will be Seth and Nicole. Oh my god, how I love watching Seth and Nicole on screen together. They are so amazing, and I love watching them act together. Their chemistry is just so good. And for this one, I felt like it really gave them a chance to show off their acting. While I love their real short series and will continue to watch them, I do feel that they can be limited to the soapy drama of Vertical, whereas this one wasn't the soapy drama, so it allowed them to stretch their acting muscles a little bit. And I think it was what made it so good is that there was a bit more story to it. I felt like Seth and Nicole really dove into these characters and it made the series that much better. And it also helps that the two play off each other so well. It's just the two of them are just amazing together, and this was really a great series for both of them, and I hope there are more series like this for them in the future. So the next topic I had was the series type. So for this one, I said one of the things I really liked about this series was it didn't feel like a typical Vertical. When I was writing the notes, I had put it was more spicy, dirty, and raunchy, mostly because I couldn't come up with the right words to use. Sometimes words don't always pop in my head, but what I was trying to say is it didn't have the same feel as a typical Vertical series. It was more raw with a little bit of spice, which helped make it feel more like a movie that was put as a Vertical. This was similar to what I had said about the series Playback. It gave the series a more serious feel to it versus typical Verticals that have more soapy drama to them. While the storyline is still a typical trope in Verticals, they did it in a way that made it not feel soapy. I love that Verticals are starting to do more series like this. I hope to see more series that have a bit more romance and drama and less soapy style. While a soapy style brings people in, I feel the more down-to-earth storylines might be what keeps people interested. I want to see Verticals expand and do great things. I do hope this is only the beginning for series and stories like this one. So my next point was about the phone call Parker made, and then goes into the rain confession. So those are kind of my next 2 points. So the phone call, I totally believe that when Piper saw Parker in the living room working and then helping out his dad with the money and the suit, that is when she fell in love with him. I think seeing the way he was with his dad and how he was telling him to do it even though it would cost a lot really showed her he cared about his father's happiness no matter what, that he was willing to make sure his dad was happy just like she would do for her mom. She might not have had the same money, but the sentiment of it all was what mattered. He wasn't just a gamer or a lazy guy, but one who worked hard and cared for those in his life. life. Piper saw that in that moment and couldn't help but fall in love with him. Like she said, he was such a great guy. Because that was one of the things that she said to him, is that you're such a great guy, when she was yelling at him about how this whole dynamic they had makes it harder because he's such a great guy. So, and I truly believe that phone call is when she really fell for him and started to fall in love with him. And now to the actual moment of when she admits that she loves him, which is the ring confession. So I am the biggest sucker for a ring confession, and this one did not disappoint. And I think I enjoyed it more because it was Seth and Nicole. There was just something so romantic about confessing your love in the rain. So impractical and foolish, but still so romantic. I feel like maybe The Notebook helped make the trope what it is in cinema because of the whole moment of, I wrote you every day for a year. And I know it's been around before The Notebook, but I feel the movie helped give it the push to get it out there more into series and movies. Because sometimes when breakout shows or movies do something, it becomes a little bit more popular because people are like, oh, they really like that in this one, so we'll continue to do it. Even though it's been around, it's still sometimes one movie or one show gives it that push to make it a little bit more popular. And I think The Notebook helped make that a little bit more popular, especially after it aired or premiered. But continuing on, I said, it's just something about being out in the rain and someone confessing their feelings that makes you melt. They're willing to follow you into a storm to tell you that they love you, risk getting sick to not let you go. All these things wrapped into one moment. I will never not like a rain scene love confession. It's the one trope that I can watch anytime and still love. And that is true. I love rain confessions. It's a little cheesy how much I love rain confessions. So to have one in this series was so amazing, and I loved every minute of it. And like I said, I think having it be Seth and Nicole as their characters made it so much better for me, because as I said, I love seeing them on screen together. So the next note I had was about the parents, and this one kind of scratches my head a little, but also at the same time I'm like, wait, maybe there's something to this. So I had said, how did they not know Parker and Piper were getting together? So when Parker was hooking up with Holly, Piper could hear them in the kitchen. So unless it was Holly that was just that loud, then the parents should have known. And my brain also connected to the fact that they did slightly hear them. The parents did slightly hear Parker and Piper at one point when they were in the kitchen, and the dad just simply goes, hey, not too rough. And I'm just like, does he think that they're just roughhousing, or do they actually know and they're just being silly? Because it was like, how could you not know what was happening under your own roof? So then that goes on to my second point of, they did know Piper and Parker were together, but they just didn't want to tell them. Because at the wedding reception, after Lee told everyone, they were okay with it. And it kind of seemed like they knew they should be together. So it makes sense that they would have known the whole time. And I mean, Piper and Parker weren't really sneaky about it, if you think about it. So I was thinking maybe when Piper's mom saw them that first night, she had talked to Xavier and they kind of agreed that it was okay, but they didn't want the kids to know that they knew. So they kind of played dumb on the whole situation because they wanted the kids to tell them. But I feel like the parents wouldn't have been that foolish not to know what was going on, you know? I'm more on the side of they knew and we're just waiting for the kids, waiting for Piper and Parker to tell them what was happening. That's my theory. I don't know if that's right or if I'm just like wanting it to be like that, but that's my theory with the parents. And so my next point is actually about Lily, the sister. So getting into Lily, I said, I feel like there's a lot more to this whole Lily situation. She is upset about her mom getting remarried and tries to ruin it, and her sister at the same time. She and Piper seem to be at odds. It seems something more is going on that we aren't aware of. I get kids do get upset if their parents remarried, but it has been 20 years since their dad died. So did she just want her mom to be alone forever? Why wouldn't she want her mom to find someone someone who could make her happy. While she might see it as her mom is trying to replace her dad, she should still understand that she could never do that. I get that that isn't always easy to understand, so I do understand that that is also probably where Lily is coming from, is that she is still under the impression that her mom is trying to replace her dad and she doesn't want that. Type of anger and upset is one of the things going on with Lily. And I know sometimes that can be hard to be like, okay, I'm okay with this, because you don't want to see someone that you love be replaced, even though he is not with you anymore. So I do kind of get that frustration from Lily. But some of the other stuff, I'm just like, I feel like there's more to this, which we get into. Is also going after her sister to try and use the secret to ruin everything was just cruel. I felt like Lily was doing that one just out of spite. I also know that there was a mention of a boy in high school that caused issues. Had that been this issue the whole time? Or does Lily not like Piper for another reason? Because there really seems to be a lot of issues. Not a lot, but there seems to be some sort of issue between Piper and Lily and some tension between the sisters. So I feel like there's something else there. One of the things that I thought was maybe Lily felt like their mom liked Piper more and she resented Piper for it. I would love to explore more on Lily and why she's so angry. I feel there is more, and I hope we kind of get to see that, because again, I do. I feel like there's more to Lily and why she is in so much pain and why she's so angry. And I feel like we didn't really get to see much of that in this series. So I kind of hope maybe we will in the future if there's more. If there could be more, just saying. So, and my last note was about the end, which threw me a little bit. What I said is the end threw me a bit when we see Piper in bed after the wedding. Her makeup is gone, she's out of the dress. Then she gets up, goes outside, and she's in the dress and got her makeup on. And then we're back inside, she's in a new outfit, getting ready to leave. So I know she didn't just get out of bed to put on her wedding look. So I'm between that it was a flashback to when everyone had left, or just simply a mistake of how the scenes went. But I'm gonna pretend it was a flashback, and when she got up, she was getting up to pack her bags. And the flashback is part of why she's packing her bags now. I just feel it works better that way than to think she got dressed back up to go outside only to come back in and change. So this is how I look at it in the scene. It keeps my head from being confused. So yeah, that was just the one thing that kind of like threw me off, was the fact that we see her in bed in her night attire, her hair down, her makeup gone, and then we cut to another scene where she's back in the dress she wore at the wedding, her hair's up, her makeup's done, and then we cut back to her in her room and she's in a completely different outfit again. And I'm just like, I feel like the way those scenes were shot might have not been how they were edited together. That maybe the scene of her looking out at everything was supposed to happen before the scene of her in bed or something like that, but it helps my brain to make it seem like it was a flashback of her thinking back to this moment and being like, okay, no, I have to go back to work. I have to walk away. This is not going to work between me and Parker. So that's how I kind of see the scene, but it did kind of throw me off a little bit, not gonna lie. So now to my overall thoughts of this was I really enjoyed this series so much. As I mentioned, the series doesn't have a typical vertical feel. Nicole and Seth really shined in this one. Haley was also really great as Holly. I loved seeing her as Holly. And what I had said was that she had this sweet, naive personality, and I love how Haley played that. And it also made me like the character of Holly so much more as we continued on with the series, especially at the end when she was on Piper's side and wanted to get rid of Lily. So I love Haley. She's another actress that I really love and really love getting to see her series. So her playing Holly was a treat. And then we have Molly as Lily, who was another one who was great. She was fantastic. I loved seeing her as Lily. And I said how she plays Mean Girl so well, and she made Lily likable and unlikable all at the same time. As I had mentioned, I feel there's more to Lily and all the pain she clearly had. Molly did a great job with showing that with Lily. This series really was so well done and so well cast. I do love that they set this up for a sequel, and I do hope we get that. The app looks like there might be one, and I hope that is true. This was so good. Hats off to the writing, directing, and everyone who helped create this, because it was fantastic. Great series, and I would 100% 100% watch if there was a sequel because I love this one so much. I've watched it a couple of times now because I just loved how great it was. It was so amazing. On to the rating. I gave it a 9 out of 10 because, again, amazing, so great. Had to give it all 9s. I'd give it a 10, but I don't fully do that with series just yet. We're getting there, though. If anything, this probably would have been a 10 if I did that. But this one, high praise, 9 out of 10. Amazing. So great. Highly recommend it. Haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Seriously. Nicole, Seth, Molly, and Haley stand out. Amazing. So great. I will just say, though, there could have been more Molly. I would have loved to see more Molly. I will say that. Her and Haley. I feel like we could have seen a little bit more of her and Haley. Them at the end, though, when Holly was chasing after Lily to kick her out of the wedding. Peak comedy. So great. Love that moment. But as always, would love to hear your thoughts on the series, what you liked, what you didn't like. Let me know. If you're enjoying this podcast, please be sure to give it a review. Would love to hear your thoughts. I'm your host, Megan. This has been Step by Step on SuperPunchy app / SuperPunchy Studio. This is my vertical obsession. And until next time.